Hello everybody, welcome to Cobcast, where I tell you a different story every week. And I do have to show this. I have my trusty barrel that I'll be sitting on. And I do want to apologize for not having videos out for like 10 days. So I want to give a 3-part section on this. So I'm going to tell you one of the pieces, but it does have to do, all 3 of them have to do with the same person, but I'm just going to leave it as Jay. His name is Jay. And they're all fantastic, so you're just going to have to stay through all 3. But a little bit of background on this. This is somebody I've known about 17 years. Known him for a long time. He's the same age as me, maybe a year younger. I should know better, right? Been hanging out with him for that long. He grew up kind of out of town, out in the country, where there's a lot less people. You know, your neighbor is a quarter mile away, so like not really in town kind of thing. So you can shoot guns outside and do whatever. But when his father bought the property, they made this log cabin that was like the size of a shed. I mean, it was like 15 by 15. And that's probably not accurate, but it was a little shed with a loft, but it was a wooden cabin. And that was only there because they needed somewhere to sleep, and like it had a wood stove, but a iron rocket stove, just to keep it warm. And they slept up in the loft while the cabin was being built. And the one that they were building was straight up logs. I mean, logs that they cut, and it was plastered in. So I mean, it was a log cabin. I've already said that like 4 times now. But while that was being built, they stayed in this little shack on the same property. And it was like 3 acres. 3.5 acres. But once the main cabin that was built, there was 2 levels. I mean, it was a 2-story house cabin. But they had to just basically chill on the property until it was ready to live in. So they had this little ladder that you can climb up in, and that's where their beds were. But they also stored their food up there, and I did bring a prop. They stored canned food up there because it was warmer, so their canned food wouldn't freeze. Because if it was sitting down at the bottom, they would have to put it around the rocket stove, because otherwise the canned food would freeze, and then when they go to open their canned food, I mean, it's frozen. And that's really what I brought as a prop, because they had a lot of leftover canned food that stayed in there and was expired. I do want to say one more thing about the other cabin that they built, is that they had a like a pirate, what do you call it, where you climb up by the sails, the crow's nest. That's what it's called, crow's nest, outside of the cabin. Cool as hell. But you could see the whole property. I mean, 3.5 acres ain't that much anyways. But being young, being kids, you know, you want to explore. Well, this little tiny shack of a cabin that was there for temporary until the other one was built, it was locked up. But, you know, we might have taken a grinder and cut the lock. And we got in there, and there's really nothing except for rats and mice and whatever animals were living in there. There was nests all up in there. Wasn't livable at that point, but we found canned food. For some reason, we decided that we would take a can of corn, and we would put it on the picnic table. I really actually don't know why we came up with this idea, but we put a blowtorch about yay far away from it, so the flame's coming out maybe this far, and left it sitting there on the picnic table thinking it's gonna blow up. But after about 15 minutes we got bored, so we're like, yeah, let's walk away from it. And then we realized, okay, well, if you know propane, when you're running a canister of propane, it gets cold, so it starts running a little bit slower. And we were thinking also at the time that the flame was getting lower and it's probably not going to do anything, and we're probably running out of propane because it was just a torch canister. And we decided to walk back up to it, and before we got about maybe 20 meters from it, the top of this can, not this one obviously, blew off, and it was like a volcano of steam, like a mushroom cloud of steam. And it was really cool, but it was also really dumb for the fact that we were walking up to it, then it exploded. But nobody got hurt. It was really cool though. But nobody got hurt. It was just this gigantic steam cloud. And we're like, yeah, let's not do that again. But it was a can of corn that was like 12 years expired because it was in that locked up shed that had been sitting there. And what, little cabin, whatever you want to call it. More like a hunting blind wooden cabin. Yeah, I mean, it was really fun, but it was really dumb too. I do have 2 more stories that relate to the same place, same property, same people. So stay in tune. I will try to get you more videos. Thank you so much.